Hello, everyone. Thank you for watching. So, today's book, I went back to nonfiction. I can't help myself. But this is also from the Morbidly Curious Book Club. And this was from a couple months ago. Like I always say, I'm very behind in my reading with them. But this is called Gory Details by Erika Engelhaupt. And she also has a blog and a podcast by the same name. So if you're interested in what she's got in this book, maybe you can check those things out. So, again, not surprising that it's the disgusting side, or it says the dark side of science. So, all those questions you want to ask your science teacher, but don't want to get in trouble for asking, are in this book. So, it's not that gory. I was kind of surprised. I thought it would be way more gory, but either I've become desensitized in my old age, or I'm able to look at it, from a scientific point of view. Still don't want to see a dead body ever, other than those that, well, no, you know what? I don't like open caskets. I don't. Just let me remember the person when they were alive. So yeah, the only dead bodies I've seen are relatives and caskets, and that was not fun. So she has it in different categories, and the illustrations are wonderful. So she just jumps from topic to topic. Of course, bugs, and why roaches have survived for so long. And basically, it's their design. So when you think you're going to be stepping on a roach, their shell is designed to protect them. So you have to have like hundreds of pounds of force to squish a roach, which I thought was interesting. So of course starts out with bodies, corpses. So I've read those things before, but she talks about the doll houses that many people, many law enforcement officers are trained on. So it's just this woman who was wealthy, Frances Glessner Lee, heir to the International Harvesters tractor empire. She built these crime scenes and doll houses. So that they're not like life size. That would take way too much money. But investigators and people who want to become police officers go through these doll houses and try and figure out the crime. Now, what I found interesting is the answers are on lockdown, because our author starts with a family that has been found deceased, and you have to try and figure out what happened. And I tried Googling, the answers. So they're on lockdown. So congratulations on that in this day and age. So bugs, corpses, and there are two things and those wet wipes our society has been loving these past couple of years, like, baby wipes for adults, dude wipes comes to mind. Well, they are creating what are called fat bergs, like an iceberg, in our sewer and septic systems, and are wreaking havoc on our infrastructure because they're either sold and marketed as being flushable, and they're not. So people don't want to throw away poop, so they just flush it. Well, because of all the other things we put down our drains and into our sewer system, they cling to these wipes, and they create these what they call fat bergs, and they just float along with the sewage and are clogging it up. So that is a modern day problem that we never hear about. So I thought that was interesting. So just get a bidet, people. And then she just kind of talks about everyday kind of things. We have this, we've always been told that urine is sterile. No, any bodily fluid, not sterile. And then she talks about, which I didn't realize, and we have a pool, is that when you go someplace that's indoors or like a public pool or a hotel pool, you smell that chlorine. And I realized I don't smell that chlorine in my own pool. And I know it's outdoors, but even when I'm swimming in it, I don't smell chlorine. I love the fact that you can see my dog digging a hole. Hey, you're going to get in trouble again. And the reason why is because the chlorine is reacting to the amount of ammonia in the pool, which means people are peeing in the pool. And that's gross. So the more chlorine smell you have is actually the chlorine and the ammonia mixing together, which is a deadly gas. Please don't ever mix bleach and ammonia to clean something. It creates a deadly gas. But I just thought that was interesting. So the more of that smell you get means the more urine is in the pool. Another thing she wanted you to learn from her book was to not eat raw slugs or snails ever. The parasites that are attached to those gooey things are deadly, and she talks about some of the lovely infestations you can get, but your digestive tract does need some bacteria in it. So she talks about, what happens when we do our cleanses, and they're really not helpful. You can't detoxify your body by sweating a lot. So all these hot yoga classes, they're just not necessary. Collagen is too big. The molecule is too big to go through your skin. So all of these beauty products that have, collagen in it, you're just laying them on your face and they're not doing any good. You have to ingest collagen for it to work. And then some other things, clowns. Why are clowns freaky and scare people when their original purpose in life was to be funny and make us laugh? So she goes into the psychology of that. Uh, Thank you, Stephen King. And also, what I found was interesting is bloodletting is still going on. And if you took my seventh grade class, we talked about Fever 1792 with Benjamin Rush, totally believing that you just had to let the blood out and the fever would go with it. And that's how our first president, George Washington, died, was by a throat infection and losing too much blood. So the bloodletting is okay. It's just how it's done and how much blood is taken out of the body. So I found that to be interesting, that something that we here in America were told is bad, well, it was bad because it was done improperly. So things like that. And probably my favorite topic, voodoo dolls. Why do they work? Just saying. There was someone who shall remain nameless, but we're not nice. And went to New Orleans and kind of did some offerings and some voodoo dolls, and it worked. So, anyway, so she talks about that and how people we won't confront someone for whatever reasons. In this case, person had power over me and I could lose a lot. But why we get pleasure out of envisioning harm happening to people who have done us harm. It's okay. You're okay. All right. So again, she does have a blog. She has a podcast. It's called Gory Details. Not too graphic, and just some questions about science that we have come to accept as truth, and the science isn't there to back it up. Okay. So thank you, Morbidly Curious Book Club. I enjoy these readings. I learn a lot. And like, share, or subscribe if you like this video. Thank you.